What is going on, everybody? It's Alex coming back at you with another video, and today we're going to be doing a deep dive on the Baltimore Ravens roster. So if you guys are new, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. And of course, let's kick right into the video. Let's first off analyze the roster, but first I want to look at the draft class. And yes, this is from my grading draft class video. Nothing has changed, but when looking at it, they had an insane draft as they do every single year. Kyle Hamilton, obviously, there was that one clip that was released where he was getting toasted by UDFA. Okay, he's not a man coverage corner. We knew that he was a little bit stiff. Also coming back from an injury. Again, I think he's a very talented guy. I feel this is very Jamar Chasey when I think Von Bell locked him down preseason last year. So again, just have some time, let him just be able to develop. Very talented player overall. Tyler Linderbaum is an absolute monster. Again, he was in the top 10 of my overall draft board. I really do think that he was probably the best offensive center that we have seen, best interior since Quentin Nelson. So big fan of that. David Ojabo, again, he just signed his contract, making him the final signed rookie. But that's a perfect fit there with the Michigan DC. So a big plus of that one. Big fan. Travis Jones, I had a first round grade on him. Ridiculous value right there. I think he's going to be an absolute freak. Daniel Failele, honestly, I'm not that big of a fan of him, but again, it's a fourth round pick, and you're taking a dude who's almost 400 pounds. Would probably be best, honestly, in this system anyway. Jalen Arbor Davis is a really talented corner, too. You watch the tape, he pops off. So, again, another really talented player to add to the arsenal. Charlie Kohler, another really good guy. Like, there's nothing really bad, but Isaiah Likely has been the talk of the town, and I was a very big fan of that one. I had a third round grade on him, and apparently he's been balling out like a first round tight end. Big fan of that. Again, again, I'm just gonna be honest. I'm a big fan of most of these picks for the Baltimore Ravens. Hence why I gave the pick, the overall draft, an A+. And even Tyler Bailey, Demarion Williams, all those guys really talented. So overall, we all know they know how to draft. Problem is they haven't exactly drafted best player for their team, and I feel like they did this year. So that's the reason why we see guys like Marquise Hollywood Brown being able to take an exit, mainly because, in my opinion, they didn't draft what's best for their squad. They drafted the best guy on the board. Usually a good strategy until you have a franchise quarterback, then you have to start drafting for him. So let's kick right into the roster. Okay, so we want to take a holistic approach to this, look at every single player. So we're going to be diving really deep into this roster right here. Obviously, we could talk about the quarterback situation. Do we exactly need to? No, it's a little bit of a pain in the ass why they don't set it up properly on Sport Track. But, I mean, look at this quarterback room. They actually have a ton of really, really talented dudes on this roster. So big fan of what they have there. Tyler Huntley, that was one of my guys a couple years ago. That was the first year I actually started doing stuff like this. So very happy to see that. Running back room, of course, they have to put it all the way down here. You got Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins as two of the primary backs. You got Tyler Beatty, seventh round pick, and then Justice Hill. You got a bunch of dudes. You got Mike Davis in here as well. Like, there is a plethora of dudes. Corey Clement as well. This has just been RBBC at its true heart for a long time, and is a lot of dudes. I honestly wish they had a true RB1, but I think that's what JK should be developing into. So I'm a Steelers fan, but I'm saying, out of my love for football, fingers crossed, JK Dobbins works out. I'm an Ohio State fan, so I can kind of make it a little more palatable that way. So looking at the wide receiver room, Rashad Bateman, he hasn't fully come into his own yet. Again, he had that injury that pushed his entry date a little bit later, but solid wide receiver overall. Again, really good player. I hope that he continues to take steps forward and be a true wide receiver one. Devin Duvernay was one of my favorite prospects I've ever studied, just has not made the fit yet. Tylan Wallace hasn't made enough plays yet either. The bottom line is, you look at the wide receivers here, and nothing really screams out as these guys are top tier wide receivers. That's pretty unfortunate. Pony up for James Prochet. As you guys know, I go to SMU. So guys, show a little bit of love right there. I just don't see a true wide receiver 2 on this roster from this list. And for once, I am sympathizing with you Ravens fans. I think Quentin Johnston would be an excellent addition. We're going to start doing some mock drafts in the middle of the year where we're able to go into depth about that as well. But for the time being, this is what we're going to get, because we have records predictions as well, which is always fun to look at. So Makai Polk is another really good player, 20 years old. He had a shit ton of yards there for Mississippi State, just not exactly the best player overall. Slade Bolden is a hard worker. That's all I could really say. Benjamin Victor was fun to watch. This isn't looking good, guys. Bottom line, Talon Wallace, you have to pray that he ends up working out. And thank God you got guys like Isaiah Likely balling out in camp. The tight end group for this team is absolutely stacked, though. Josh Oliver, obviously, he hasn't been performing to his talent level, but he's a very talented tight end. If I'm not mistaken, he was a 3rd-round pick out of San Jose State. You got Charlie Kohler here, again, a really talented tight end. Isaiah Likely's been balling out. Nick Boyle is just consistent. He's just the dude. And then Mark Andrews is Mark Andrews. He's a stud, but possibly like the number 2, if not, he can contend at certain weeks for the number 1 tight end. He's a top tier tight end. That's the bottom line. Mark Andrews, very talented player. Let's look at the offensive line. Starting off at the tackle spot, you got Ronnie Stanley here. I think that's absolutely awesome to have him there. Jawan Jones and Morgan Moses at the right tackle spot is even better because, one, both of them have had like their time in the sun. I know Morgan Moses was brought there to start, and I honestly would rather have him there. But you have a really good backup in Jawan James at the moment. So big fan of what we could be doing right there. Again, Daniel Failele, really solid backup. So you have dudes who can fill in at multiple positions. Let's look at the offensive guards. And I think that you got Mercari here, Zeitler, Cleveland, like these guys. Ben Cleveland was actually, I'm pretty sure that was a TFG he was a big fan of that one. But these guys are all serviceable players. Mercari got a 3-year extension. I actually didn't see that one. So good for him. Glad he got his money. But you have a bunch of players who are able to make a solid impact. And again, you have depth at these positions. So if we were to do a mock draft at the end of this, there would be no need to go offensive line. Maybe offensive tackle again, because you got Jawan James, who's 30, and then you have a developmental tackle. But regardless, here's the best part. Tyler Linderbaum, I think the best center that we have seen in a hot minute. And, your offensive line is looking good. Offensive wise, apart from that wide receiver position, which there are still players out there, I think that you are able to lock it down. We're going to go the exact opposite way for the defense. We're going to go from the defensive line outwards. And let's start out with Michael Pierce, Travis Jones. Holy shit. That is amazing. Justin Madubuike as well. Very talented players. Even Broderick Washington has his own type of hype to him. So, they definitely are building a very good roster here. Again, Travis Jones is just too good to pass on, I assume. Inside, defensive end wise, these guys definitely don't all fit the same mold. Calais Campbell, obviously like 30 to 40 pounds heavier than David Ojabo, but you have very talented players. Calais, I thought that he did retire, but apparently not. So that's good, I assume. David Ojabo, he's probably not going to play for the entire year. ACL tear, or no, Achilles tear, if I'm not mistaken. Kind of sucks because it was at his pro day, and that hurts. Dalen Hayes is another guy who's a really solid depth player. Justin Houston, he's just a consistent veteran, man. Big fan of having him there to nurture David Ojabo as he's healing up. Brent Urban, even like guys like Brent Urban can make an impact. So you definitely have a formidable front right there. Let's look at these linebackers, and I want to talk about the outside ones because they still kind of, I'm pretty sure that you'd probably want to be putting I'm bugging David Ojabo into the outside linebacker group. Regardless, Tyus Bowser, he's a talented as a dude. Again, he's able to make an impact on a consistent basis. Not a top tier talent, but again, he's more that money ball type of player. You're going to get good consistency out of him. Adafe has been a beast. Big fan of him coming out to the Ravens. That was the best spot for him. Honestly, I was a very big fan when I saw that he went there over other places. Jeremiah Moon, he was a UDFA, and it looks like he got a 3-year contract. Power to him, man, because I've been watching Gervon Dexter as well as Jabril Cox for this year, and Jeremiah Moon stood out a lot better than Brenton Cox did. So, yeah, I think that he was overlooked because of his size, but very talented guys over there. Inside linebackers are including Malik Harrison. I think that was a 3rd-round pick or maybe he might have been even later for him. Malik Harrison's pretty damn solid. Diego Fago, I think he's out of Navy. solid dude as well. Just somebody who you can add in that rotation. You got Patrick Queen, though, former first-round pick. Definitely is, I would say his play oscillates a lot. He has some very high-level plays, but he also has some big inconsistencies. Nakobe McClain, I'm pretty sure that he just got brought on this year out of Auburn. He's probably not going to be nothing, just to be blunt. But I'm tripping. I don't think Nakobe McClain came out this year. Regardless, I'm looking at it right now. You got Josh Ross here, Michigan linebacker. And man, I'm gonna be 100% honest. This interior linebacker class is looking a little bit thin. I've been having a lot of really good things to say about your roster until it gets to this spot. Nakobe might be the guy out of Auburn, because if you're looking at 3-year contract, it means he got drafted for 2022. That is definitely interesting. Regardless, that's not exactly something we need to hang our hats on at the moment. Let's look at the corners before. Well, the corners are fun to end on. Let's look at the safeties. You got Marcus Williams, obviously a huge free agent acquisition, top tier talent at the safety position. He is an elite safety, so that's a big plus right there. Obviously, you have Kyle Hamilton in here with Tony Jefferson and Chuck Clarks and Ordarius Washington and Geno Stone. The list goes on with amazing, amazing players in that secondary. And then, of course, we're not going to stop talking about really good players when we got Marlon Humphrey here and Marcus Peters. I've heard Brandon Stevens could be trying to play some safety, but at the same time, you kind of addressed those holes already. Might as well stick him still at corner. Again, pony up, SMU baby. But Jalen Armour-Davis is in there too. This team is looking really good. You've got Kyle Fuller on the roster. Hot damn. So with that being said, let's just go right into it. I'm pretty sure I have it right here, and we are going to be able to jump right into the records predictions. Again, I know these videos don't do well for me, but at the same time, I know that it gets you guys good content and it allows me to study your rosters in a more entertaining way. So starting off, Jets versus Baltimore Ravens. I still think they're going to come out pretty hot. The Jets, they're not as bad as a lot of people claim them to be, but at the same time, you're really praying that Zach Wilson comes out hot. And even if he's taken a step up, I don't know if we see it week 1, because we started seeing it at the end of last year. I think that he needs to continue building up that consistency, and it's not going to start there. The Dolphins are still going to be figuring out who the hell they are. So I think that a team that's much more run specific or can rely on the run a little bit better, like the Ravens, would be a lot more formidable. So a team like the Patriots could be the kryptonite of the Ravens because of the fact that defense is the specialty of Mr. Bill Belichick, and you are looking at a more consistent, more just solid overall offense that is, it's more like money ball. You just look at them, there's not really a legitimate weakness except at receiver. And honestly, the Ravens are such a strength at corner that it's not really exactly an issue. The one part that I'm a little bit worried about is if you get past that front line of the Ravens, who's going to be stopping those running backs? And that's something that I have a legitimate concern for. You are also going into Bill Belichick's house. I would say that Bill Belichick's preparing for that game right now. Bengals. Oh, wow. I'm tripping. I saw the Bengals here. The Bills are going to Baltimore. Now, that's a tough game. That's a really tough game because I don't think the Bills' offensive line is good enough to totally dominate the Ravens' defensive line. I do think that the Patriots just know how to be able to maximize their offensive line better than the Bills. And I think this is going to be an upset. We're going to be going Ravens here. And usually at games that's kind of like a toss-up, I like to go with the home squad anyway. So I do think that their roster is able to compete with the Bengals. Week 6, we got the Ravens going against the New York Giants. And I'm projecting the Giants to have a really shitty year. I do not have faith in the New York Giants. Running back, I don't have faith in Saquon Barkley. Offensive line's improving. I do not have faith in Daniel Jones. And you have a bunch of wide receivers where the chemistry is not there. Kadarius Toney almost was gone, and they kind of drafted a replacement for Kadarius Toney while still having Kadarius Toney. So really weird spot right there because they brought in Wan'Dale Robinson. Just, I don't think that they're going to have a very good year, and I'm pretty sure we are going to be seeing some big changes come the next. Number 7. The Browns go to the Ravens. This is Deshaun Watson's week 1. And I'm not going to make comments about the whole Deshaun Watson situation. We're going to keep it strictly football. Again, if you guys want to talk to me about stuff like that, we have Discord links where you can talk about personal stuff and more stuff that doesn't involve just pure football. But again, if Deshaun Watson's playing his first game in a hot minute on week 7, the pressure is going to be coming hot. And I don't really trust the Browns receiving core anyway to hold up one-on-one versus these corners. So Ravens fans, just know you guys are going to be terrorizing Deshaun week 1 for him. Number 8, week 8, you're going to be going to Tampa. This is still going to be in that really muggy, weird time. And I do think the Buccaneers have it in them to be able to beat you guys. I don't think a dome team is going to be able to have that much of an advantage, though. You're on Monday Night Football. Jameis Winston still picking up his groove at this point. The receivers aren't exactly good enough. Again, you have Chris Olave and Michael Thomas, but we are going to assume health here. But how much of Michael Thomas is really left? The slant god himself. And we haven't even seen Michael Thomas really make a connection with Jameis Winston yet. I'm excited to see what Chris Olave does. But again, you're looking at a team that is literally capable of being able to lock down those guys easily. So I would say Alvin Kamara is the biggest X factor in being able to change the course of this game. I'm just not really confident in the Saints' ability. Week number 11, this is a no-brainer. You're coming fully rested into a game versus the Panthers. And yeah, I don't really need to explain that one much, do I? Week number 12, I think that if you're going to the Jags house, this could actually very well be a big upset. The problem is they don't have Miles Jack anymore, so I don't have that faith in them. If they have Miles Jack as the commander of that defense, I think they could be able to just lock down Lamar Jackson in his running ability. They have a lot of potential, but I just don't think that at this time you could stop a high potent offense like the Ravens, even though you're in an area that is just, Florida is just different. The climate there is just on another level. So we'll see. We'll see if I come back to bite myself in the ass on that one. But I do think that is a pretty solid move. Now you got the is this Des Fitzpatrick? No, I'm tripping. That guy is on the Titans. You got Tim Patrick. You got the Tim Patrick list. Broncos going to the Ravens. I'm going to be choosing the Ravens on this one. Again, you have a very solid team that lost one of their best pieces in Von Miller. Not saying that, again, they actually ended up getting Randy Gregory. So, they definitely got a good enough guy to replace him. But I don't know how that corner core is. You did lose Kyle Fuller. Yes, you have Patrick Surtain, who is a lockdown god. I had him, I think, at number 10 or 11 overall on my board last year. So, again, big fan of him. But I am a little bit suspect by that corner 2 position. If I'm not mistaken, they don't have that fully addressed. I may be wrong, but that's more for that video. Regardless, I do think the Ravens at home pose a very formidable threat. Steelers are always a threat at their home. That just is the way that it is in this division. And this is where Deshaun is coming for his revenge. 8 weeks later, he's coming back, and he's going to get some success right there. And do I need to talk about the Falcons? Falcons fans are overhyping the Falcons roster, to be honest, and I'm kind of done with it. So Ravens are going to get that one. Again, similar logic. This division is very home-centric, and then it honestly applies for that one as well. A lot of these teams just know how to totally go at each other's throats, and I think that is going to be the story of this whole entire season. So let's check out the rankings. We got a 12-5 record. Holy shit. I did not expect to say that they were going to win their division. I'm just going to be honest. I didn't expect it. But that is the way it's going to go. I'm going to double check the rankings of the Bengals because I have a feeling I missed one game by accident. But regardless, for right now, it's 12-5. If it randomly is 11-4, which I don't think it is, I'm pretty sure I gave that one to the Ravens. But under the situation, that changes. Regardless, you guys are essentially winning the division. You guys are definitely making the playoffs. So thank you guys so much for watching. Of course, feel free, join the community. Would love to talk to you guys. See you on the far side. Peace.